Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? The Disney Plus numbers have been released, or at least brought together by somebody online, and it looks bad. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This looks horrible for Disney Plus viewership numbers. I think it's streaming across the board, but we got to talk about it. Marvel, Star Wars numbers, they're down a lot. We got to talk about all this stuff. Andor Season 2, was it actually a success? We're talking numbers today. Also, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie just showed a trailer to people in attendance at CineEurope or whatever it was called last night. Jon Favreau was there showing a new trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Where is our trailer? Where is the teaser trailer? We are less than 11 months, or we are about almost exactly 11 months away from this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Where is the teaser trailer? And not only that, but Han Solo is back. Filling in the gaps between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy is finally coming to fruition, with Han Solo back in a new Star Wars project. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? Okay, so again, as per usual, during this time in between Star Wars shows, we are all over the place. From Disney Plus numbers to The Mandalorian and Grogu to Han frickin' Solo. We are talking everything. Even Rey in the end of Rise of Skywalker, we're talking today. So we're all over the board, as per usual, when it comes to Star Wars news. We got not a lot of time to get into it. So first things first, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Okay, why is my chat over there? I don't go over there. There you go. Brandon Baker, what is up? Kyler, how we doing? Aaron in the house. Justin, what is up? C. Lee, how we doing? Starship 66 in the house. Jessica, what is up? Derek, well, how we doing? Rachel, what is up? Fearless in the house. Tavari Tano, how we doing? I Haja, what is up? Ron in the building. King Shadow, what is up? Cannibal the Dragon, what is up? Darth Plagueis lives. I certainly hope so. How we doing? Jason, what is up? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so I feel like we got to start with these Disney Plus numbers. So somebody in the great Discord, actually, let me give credit where credit is due. Who sent that in the Discord? If you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. Okay. It was Tafari Tano. So shout out to Tafari Tano for sending this to the Discord. We were talking about this, but the Disney Plus numbers have been put together by Star Wars fans, and let's just say it's not that good. All right, let's take a look at it ourselves, and we can discuss the problem in the room. The problem in the room. Okay. Okay. Your pal Joe, what is up? How we doing? Robert, how we doing? All right, if I miss, yeah. Lex Luthor, what's up? If I missed you, you know the deal. Okay, let's talk about these numbers, shall we? So, let's do this. Where the hell's my? Oh, there it is. Okay, so this was. Oh wait, Disney Plus. Oh, okay. This is from a community on Reddit called Disney Plus with over 2 million people in it. All right, but let's talk about it. So this is the graph that came out. U.S. viewership from every live-action Star Wars and Marvel series on Disney Plus from 2019 to 2025. 2019 is when Disney Plus became a thing. So that's the beginning of the timeline. And it launched with The Mandalorian Season 1. So as you can tell here, it's a pretty steady decline, but a decline nonetheless. Actually, let me pull up this. Hang on one sec. Let me pull up this image instead so we can zoom in and out a lot easier. Let's do this. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So as you can tell, it's a pretty big, this way I guess, pretty big decline going like this, as you can tell. From The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2, all the way down to Andor Season 2. My head is in the way. Hang on. Can I zoom out? Nope. All right, let's go. Hang on. Hang on, chat. All the way to Andor. My head's still in the way. All the way to Andor Season 2. A pretty big decline. Now, if we zoom in here to check out this key over here. So we're looking at weekly averages in million minutes watched of a complete viewing evaluation, or CVE, sorry, for every live action Star Wars and Marvel series on Disney Plus in the US during their initial run. This is all based off the Nielsen data. So all the information we're talking about today comes from those Nielsen numbers that we love so much. Andor season 2 is at the top of the Nielsen charts last week for its finale week. So there's that. Measured in million minutes watched, viewed in the US only. This is just US based. So they're calculated by dividing the numbers of minutes watched each week by runtime of each episode released that same week. So with Andor, you had three episodes a week, and with all the other shows, for the most part, usually the premiere was 2 episodes, and then they went to 1 episode, and they had the whole thing. But yeah, so this is estimated there are used in 2 specific cases. One for series with multiple seasons. Nielsen does not break down the viewership by season. Instead, aggregates all seasons into the future figure to approximate the viewing of the last season only. Interesting. So they can't figure out what individual seasons are, and that's the way they break it down? Huh. The more you know. So that explains why there are these sort of weird areas here that aren't full bars. This is because of those numbers that they're talking about. Because Nielsen can't break down each individual season. So the people here attributed 25% of the total reported numbers back onto it. Just to be nice, I guess? I don't really know. Okay. Interesting. And number 2, for seasons that did not consistently appear on the Nielsen top 10 throughout their initial run, in the case of Daredevil Born Again, which never made it into the top 10, the estimate is based off of the known threshold to enter the charts, thus 4 million of these CVEs, to consider it an upper limit. Echo is the only series in the database that was released in binge format. Its weekly viewership is therefore not directly compared to the weekly releases of the other series. So when we look at Echo here, this is all just from 1 week, because it only released for 1 week. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look. So let's start with The Mandalorian, I guess. We can see there's a big old peak at the beginning of this graph. Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2. 16.3 million minutes watched for the first season. 18.2 million, or if they're adding that 25%, 24.3 million. So clearly, they started with a bang. The Mandalorian being a crazy success. However, when you fast forward to the future, and we'll look at all the other numbers as we go down here. When you fast forward to the future, you end up at Andor Season 2. That currently sits at 4 million minutes watched. Because it's a Season 2, they gave it 5.3 million minutes watched. Comparing that to even The Acolyte at 7.3, Ahsoka at 11.4, Andor Season 1 at 8.4. Not very good. Even Skeleton Crew technically beat it on its estimated numbers, but when they added the 25%, it did not beat it. So what we're looking at here is a clear decline in Disney Plus viewership. Now, this is something that we've been talking about recently because of Tony Gilroy's comments about the streaming is dead. He literally said that Disney came to him when he was making Season 2 and said streaming is dead. There's a reason that there's been a huge shift in content for Star Wars and Marvel back to the big screen. You got the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which we're going to talk about today a lot. You got Starfighter. You got the Rey movie. You got Dawn of the Jedi. You got Simon Kinberg's trilogy. You got Taika Waititi's movie. You got possibly Rogue Squadron still. You got the Lando movie or show, whatever it's going to be. And the only live-action show that we have remaining that's been announced is Ahsoka Season 2. So clearly, Disney has seen this decline, and they've taken their most important or most successful project in The Mandalorian and brought it to the big screen. But now this begs the question, chat. This begs the big old question. Is Disney Plus actually dead? Meaning, is Ahsoka Season 2 going to really be one of the last ever live action projects we ever get from Star Wars? And maybe for the rest of time, it'll just be animated shows. The Maul series, more Tales of the whatever, Tales of the Mandalorian, Tales of the Bounty Hunter, whatever it is. Is Disney Plus really going to fall off? Let's take a look closer at these numbers here. So I saw somebody already bring it up in the chat. Lockdown versus after lockdown. So there is some argument to be made there that the pandy, where everybody was locked inside their houses, had an effect on these shows. Absolutely. And when you look at that, when we'll look at it right now, it does make sense, but it's still not enough. Because look at this. November 2019 is The Mandalorian Season 1. Wait, what? Oh, sorry, you guys can't see that. November 2019. And if anybody is doing the math here, that pandy didn't start till March 13th, 12th, whatever. March of 2020. So these Mandalorian numbers are just straight up, The Mandalorian's great. It's so good that everybody watched it. That's The Mandalorian. So it's not until Mando Season 2 and beyond where we get to that pandy numbers. Lockdown versus post-lockdown. But we got pre-lockdown too, and that's The Mandalorian Season 1. So Grogu comes into the fold, Din Djarin comes into the fold, and we get this incredible story with those characters. And that is pre-lockdown. Then we get to the lockdown, which is, of course, Mando Season 2, where we got this big old boom, all the way up to 24.3 million minutes watched. And that is still, to date, the biggest season of a Disney Plus show, Marvel or Star Wars. Still the biggest. It helps that Luke Skywalker was in it. It helps that Ahsoka Tano was in it. It helps that Boba Fett came back. There's a lot that goes into that being that big. It was this crazy worldwide phenomenon of, oh my God, Boba Fett's back for the first time in 40 years. Luke Skywalker's back. And it was crazy. That obviously plays into it. But yes, it was early lockdown. We also have WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and Hawkeye, all in 2021 for Marvel. And even with, when we're looking at Star Wars numbers and Marvel numbers, even with the Marvel numbers, they started a lot higher and end a lot lower. But then we get to the Book of Boba Fett. Now, in this sort of decline, the Book of Boba Fett has a very low number, 12.8 million. And that's very low for, I guess, Kenobi being at 16 and Mando's being at 24. But a lot of that has to do with it being only 7 episodes. It's one less episode than the other series. And it was thrown in there because of all these different reasons. You have the cancellation of Rangers of the New Republic. You have the firing of Cara Dune. There's a lot that goes into the Book of Boba Fett not being as successful as it should be. However, it bounces right back with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And The Mandalorian Season 2 even stays pretty on pat. It's very close to the Season 1 numbers. And they added that 25% for whatever reason. And that's booming past all the other shows. But clearly The Mandalorian, boom, 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 these gigantic columns that stand above all the rest except for Kenobi. That's why Din Djarin's coming to the big screen. That's why we're getting a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. That's why. Clearly, the numbers don't lie. And that's a big old success. People like Grogu. People like Din Djarin. I mean, it's evident in the numbers. And the numbers don't lie. But right before The Mandalorian Season 3, we had Andor Season 1. Now, as many of us know, today, after Andor Season 2, Andor Season 1 has become a lot better. And Andor has become one of the greatest Star Wars shows, if not greatest shows, period, of all time. Which is crazy when you look at the numbers. Because Season 1 is this crater in between Kenobi and Mando Season 3. And Season 2, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But Season 1, you had the Ann Bor stuff. You had the complaints of not enough aliens or there being bricks in Star Wars or whatever it was. There was a lot of complaints about Season 1. Granted, Season 1 is worse than Season 2, in my personal opinion. But it is more of a slow grind. You're introduced to all these characters. You got to figure out who Cyril is, who Dedra is, who Bix is, who Luthen is, who Clea is. There's a lot of introductions to characters. It's technically the first time we see Mon Mothma in the timeline because all of her scenes from Revenge of the Sith are cut. I mean, she's in Clone Wars, but even still. In live action, I guess. So we're getting introduced to all these different characters. It's the big old setup for season 2. But even with that, its numbers are extremely low. Not really warranting a second season. But moving on. Moving past that, we're sticking to the Star Wars stuff for now. We get to Ahsoka, 11.4 million. Now that is lower than the Book of Boba Fett, lower than all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, lower than Kenobi. It is significantly higher than Andor, but still a lot lower. Even bringing in great characters from animation like the Rebels crew, like Ahsoka, even bringing in Anakin frickin' Skywalker to come into the World Between Worlds. Hayden Christensen's back. And of course, you guys know how I feel about Ahsoka season 1. I mean, it's just a chef's kiss masterpiece. But with that, the viewerships are a lot lower. Now we're in sort of this world of post-lockdown. So pre-lockdown's Mando season 1. During lockdown is Mando season 2, Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi. I guess Andor and Mando season 3 are towards the end of that. We're out of it by then. So we're post-lockdown at this point. Then we get to The Acolyte. Now, The Acolyte had a lot going behind the scenes. Star Wars fans giving it a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes before it even released. A lot of stuff having to do with the actors and actresses and creators creating the show in interviews, leading to a big old divide in the Star Wars fandom. We won't talk too much Acolyte today because it's a very divisive topic to say the least. So The Acolyte comes in at a 7.3 million. Almost the same as Andor Season 1 and towering over the next 2 projects we're going to talk about here. And those next 2 projects are Skeleton Crew, which is very low, and Andor Season 2, which is even lower. Now, when was this made? Hang on. When was this graph made? 22 hours ago. Okay. So this isn't like I mean, maybe these aren't completely updated and/or numbers because it just did release. This comes from 22 hours ago. I think it's updated to the max. But when we look down here, towards the end of our graph, sits alone 2 of the lowest Star Wars projects. No, not 2 of the lowest. The 2 lowest. Skeleton Crew and Andor Season 2. Now, the numbers don't lie. I'll say it 1,000 times. The numbers don't lie. Was Andor one of the greatest shows of all time? Yes. Was Skeleton Crew really good and a solid, fun ride? More of I guess, a kid-centered show. More of a Goonies meets Star Wars type deal. Was it still awesome? Yeah. The marketing for Skeleton Crew was a whole nother thing. Like, they didn't really market it well. They tried to keep a lot of stuff a secret. Jude Law was involved there, but he wasn't really, involved too much in the marketing. Skeleton Crew wasn't really set up for success in the first place, and it is not really connected to anything else. It has no legacy characters appearing. It's got not a lot riding on it. But Andor Season 2 on this list, all the way at the bottom, is shocking. Yeah, Skeleton Crew was a great show, but I don't remember seeing a single that much advertisement from a broadcast. Yeah, no, never. There was nothing. So let's talk about this. What's the issue here? Because it's not pre, post, and during lockdown. That's not what's happening here. Because we've been post-lockdown for years now, and these numbers continue to drop. So what's the issue? Is it because we haven't gotten a Mando season in 2.5 years? Because The Mandalorian Season 3 was the last big peak over here. I guess Ahsoka was pretty big too. But since The Mandalorian Season 3, we've just gone down, 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 and down by a drastic margin. So what's the issue? What's the problem? Is Ahsoka Season 2 going to be even lower than Andor Season 2? I certainly hope not. And does this warrant the stoppage of live action Star Wars content? Because when you look at the Marvel side of things, and we'll take a little look at that. When you look at the Marvel side of things here, they also have this crazy decline. Since Loki season 1, really, it's just gone down, down, down. It booms back up here. That's because Miss Marvel was very, very low. And Daredevil showed up for the first time in that. Down, down, down. A little bit of a peak, and down again. Down, down, down. And Marvel has made a huge shift. They've canceled so many, or postponed, or whatever you want to call them, so many of their shows on Disney Plus. They've not marketed Ironheart at all, and it comes out in 3 days or whatever it is, 4 days. They haven't done anything for Ironheart, and their next show, I don't even know what it is. Do they even have a next show? Maybe Daredevil Born Again Season 2? I don't even know. I think Marvel's just completely stopped making shows on Disney Plus. Is Star Wars going to follow suit and do the same thing? Vision Quest, that's true. There was actually a recent new leak about that too. Vision Quest. But who knows when that's going to come out? It's not this year. That's for damn sure. It's not coming out this year. No film connections to the streaming shows may be an issue. People aren't watching Disney Plus shows because they don't care anymore, especially with Marvel, because they don't know that, well, they don't really have to. Oh, okay. So you're saying that the Marvel content is not connected to the movies, so it doesn't matter. They don't have to watch it. It seems like homework at this point. But that argument doesn't really work with Star Wars. Granted, they're not making any Star Wars movies right now. Well, I guess they are making a lot of Star Wars movies right now. But granted, right now, there's no Star Wars movies coming out. But Andor, specifically, is extremely connected to Rogue One and the original trilogy. It can't really get much more connected to the movie as the final scene leads directly into the movie. And we're sitting here talking about, and we've talked about for weeks now, since it ended, how great Andor Season 2 is. Critically acclaimed. I mean, it's the highest critically acclaimed Star Wars project of all time. So, where are the numbers? Where are the people? Where did they go? Maybe a lack of connection, but The Mandalorian was never connected to anything really either. I take that back. Season 1 wasn't. Season 2, of course, you had Luke and Ahsoka and Boba Fett, so you had those connections. But Season 1, this big old number at the beginning of the chart here, that's 16.3 million. That's just purely off of Mando being great. Simple as that. Grogu does help a lot. I mean, having the gigantic explosion of Baby Yoda, Grogu, that helped just a little bit. I mean, look down on your shirt. Grogu is there right now. He's everywhere. Actually, he is on my shirt today, so that's why I said that. Hanging out with Grogu today. But the numbers don't lie, and these numbers are scary. As a Star Wars fan, this number right here is scary. This decline drastically. Hearing Tony Gilroy saying that streaming from Disney, that streaming is dead, it's not looking too good. It's not. If Ahsoka Season 2 isn't this massive success, if it's not the same, at least close to the same numbers as that 11.4 of Season 1, if it's not better than Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte, and Andor Season 2, we might be going back to movies. And no more live action stuff on Disney Plus. Animation stuff, sure. You'll still get your Maul series and hopefully a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show or whatever may come next. But for live action Disney Plus shows, the light is flashing red. The alarms are going off. This is not good. This is not good. But what is it? Because it's not just Star Wars, it's Marvel too. What is the issue here? Are people just not watching TV anymore? Because that can't possibly be true. Is the market oversaturated with so much streaming services that maybe the quality of the Marvel and Star Wars shows aren't up to the quality of HBO shows or whatever, Peacock shows? Are you telling me that Turbo TV, what is it called? Tubi TV is beating out Disney Plus numbers? I don't think so. It doesn't get bigger than Star Wars and Marvel. Those are the two biggest franchises currently right now, unless DC makes a big old boom. And these numbers are shocking, to say the least. So what's going on? What's the problem? You tell me. Mando Season 3, still enjoyed it, but it was damaged by the meddling? Sure. Oh, meddling, sorry. Of Mando appearing in the Book of Boba Fett and reuniting with Grogu. We lost all the emotional catharsis with the characters from being separated. True, I mean, the Book of Boba Fett does bring those two characters back together, which is kind of a bummer. But as long as you watch the Book of Boba Fett, it doesn't really matter. Because the Book of Boba Fett is the next chapter in that story, making sure that they're all seemingly connected, you know? To be honest, Marvel is dead. Star Wars is alive. I don't think Marvel is dead. It's definitely in a weird spot right now. It still did make $1 billion off of Deadpool and Wolverine last year. I think Fantastic Four will be a pretty big success for them, and then they're going back into Avengers movies, which are usually big successes. It's not dead, per se. It's definitely not as alive as it was in 2017 to 19 when it was really at its peak. But for the Star Wars community, it's looking like, at least for live-action Star Wars shows, it's looking bad. For the first time in a long time, it's looking bad. Because since 2019, since Disney Plus opened the floodgates to getting Star Wars shows, because before that, we only got animated ones. We only got Rebels. We only got Clone Wars. And those are great. And the animated side of Star Wars is still great. But we started to get live-action Star Wars shows. And it started with some bangs with The Mandalorian. It sort of gave us some more bangs, but it petered off. There's a lot that goes into this. Maybe it's the fact that there's no legacy characters involved with Cassian's story. Maybe it's the fact that Skeleton Crew didn't have any people like Luke Skywalker show up. Maybe it's the fact that the Acolyte was just absolutely destroyed online. And we're in this weird limbo of what's next. When will that next legacy character show up? But honestly, when you look at this graph from a studio perspective, from the perspective of Disney looking at this graph, I'd look at this and go, hold up, wait a second. What does The Mandalorian, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, the Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka do that these other projects don't? It slaps you right in the face. It's legacy characters. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Luke Skywalker. It's Boba Fett. It's Darth frickin' Vader or Anakin Skywalker. So when you want to go to new, you want to go to a different spot in the timeline, you want to see brand new characters that have zero connection to the Skywalker saga, to the Skywalker name, and to the legacy characters that we already know. This says the opposite. So for us Star Wars fans that sit here on a daily basis and go, I want to see a Dawn of the Jedi. I want to see the Old Republic. I want to see post-sequel trilogy content with brand new characters that have zero attachment to anything we've seen before. Because we talk about that on a daily basis here. The numbers don't lie. And the numbers are saying, absolutely not. Don't you even think about going anywhere without Anakin Skywalker. He's the chosen one, and he must be involved in some sort of way with any project ever. What is it called? The 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon? You can get to any actor from 7 connections to Kevin Bacon. That's the same thing with Anakin Skywalker. If it's 7 connections away from Anakin Skywalker, the show's gonna bomb. That's what it looks like. To me, it clearly is not the case. Andor was spectacular. Skeleton Crew was great. But from a studio perspective, that's surely what it looks like. Fans aren't going to show up. Fans aren't going to watch anything if it's not connected to the story they already know. If it's not directly connected to Anakin or Luke or Obi-Wan or the original trilogy itself, they won't show up. They won't watch it. They don't care. And that's a big old issue. That is a big issue. Now, with that being said, the alarm is blaring. The red lights are flashing. We got some good news today. We do have some good news. We are going back to the movie theaters. The Mandalorian, these gigantic peaks on this graph, Mando Season 3, Mando Season 2, Mando Season 1, that success is coming to the big screen. And now, yesterday, Jon Favreau showed a new trailer. Not publicly. But the people in attendance at CineEurope, something, I don't know. Something about Europe, got to see a special look at the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Take a look at this. Where is this article? Oh, there it is. All right. So, this happened yesterday. Yeah. Okay. Take a look at this. All right. Chat, I feel like the graph brought us down. I feel like the graph brought us down. It brought the mood down. It made us upset. It made us think that, even though Andor's peak, even though Skeleton Crew is great, the lightsaber fights and the acolyte, I mean, come on. It brought the vibes down. Let's celebrate a little. Let's get hyped up. Let's change this mood around.
This is where the fun begins.
Thank you, Hayden. Okay, let's dive into this. All right, let's talk some good news. Let's talk some good news. Actually, wait. First, let's put up a poll. I forgot we haven't put up a poll yet today. Let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. Let's do this. Let's do this. Do you think Disney, or let's do this. Do you think live action Star Wars content on Disney Plus is doomed? Yes or no? Yes or no? You tell me. Is live action content on Disney Plus doomed after Ahsoka Season 2? Honestly, it makes me even more excited for Ahsoka Season 2 because the hype for it is hopefully really, really good. I'm hoping that it gets really, really good. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm telling y'all, Beck and Filoni, this is the way. Well, that could be a big old change, too. A change in leadership might help out a little bit. Because as much as we talk about it all the time about how Kathleen Kennedy, she only gets all the crap and not all the love, there's a lot of people in the Star Wars community that really just don't want to see her be in charge anymore. That's not me. I mean, she's done clearly a great job over the last 6 years. When we look at that graph, we just got peak shows after peak shows. But a change in leadership would be maybe for some people a lifeline to bring them back into the swing of things when it comes to Star Wars content. But we shall see. We shall see. What is next on Disney Plus for live action shows after Ahsoka Season 2? Well, nothing. As of right now, nothing. But that can change. And that can change very, very quickly. Yeah. I think as long as the movies do well, that will lead to more shows. Well, that's the big thing that's been missing, Peter, and he kind of hits the nail on the head. Shout out to Peter. Movies. We had the sequel trilogy in the late 2010s. And although you maybe don't like the sequel trilogy, or maybe you like it, and I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever you think about the sequel trilogy, it doesn't matter. Having Star Wars movies alongside the shows helps them drastically. And that graph almost shows the exact same thing. The Mandalorian Season 1 comes out at the same time as The Rise of Skywalker. So the hype level for Star Wars at the time, because a new Star Wars movie had just come out, is so high. And then Mando comes out and it's even higher. It's the exact same thing we saw over the course of May with Andor Season 2. I guess just with the hype level for Star Wars, because Andor Season 2's numbers were apparently really, really low. So you had Andor Season 2, you had Star Wars Celebration, you had May the 4th. All that comes into this, and Star Wars Fortnite event. All of that combines to this perfect storm, which makes fans talking Star Wars go, let's make Battlefront 3 happen. So everybody gets back on Battlefront 2. It hits its all-time peak, almost doubles its all-time peak. And the hype for Star Wars is crazy. But that's because Star Wars was the topic of conversation. You couldn't have had that happen in any other month of the year because it was this perfect storm of Star Wars Celebration and/or Season 2, May the 4th, and a Fortnite event for Star Wars. Like, it was this really perfect storm to make that happen. But that happens when Star Wars is the topic of conversation. When there's a Star Wars movie out, when it's making $1 billion in the box office, that's when Star Wars is the topic of conversation. If the Mandalorian and Grogu movie goes out and makes billions of dollars, now we're talking. And everybody will be talking Star Wars. It'll be at the forefront of everybody's mind, and that's when they want more shows. So it seems like maybe, just maybe, right now, Star Wars has taken a back burner on the casual fans' minds, and they've almost not, they don't want to check out The Acolyte. They don't want to check out Skeleton Crew because it has no connection to a Star Wars movie that they know and love. It has no connection to characters that they know and love. So let's say Rogue One came out earlier this year. Then the hype level for Star Wars would be crazy high. The numbers for Andor Season 2 would be crazy high. Skeleton Crew would probably be way higher. The hype for Star Wars would be more there. So maybe, just maybe, the fact that they're moving back to the movie theaters is going to help drastically with the numbers on Disney+. Ahsoka Season 2 might benefit enormously from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Because if that's a success, then people are going to want to see more of that story, and Ahsoka Season 2 is a continuation of that story. So you might be onto something, Peter. You might be onto something, Peter. Oh, Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. God damn. Says, congrats on 170,000. Thank you. Yes, we did hit 170,000 subscribers today, this morning. I think today. We hit it today, so I could not thank you guys enough. 170,000 is absolutely insane. And yes, the road to 200,000. Okay, well, let's take a step back. We got to celebrate. We got to celebrate a little bit. That's what I've learned over the course of this journey is you got to celebrate the big milestones. We're looking at 200,000. It's far away, but it's getting closer. We got to celebrate 170,000. So hit it. Hit it. Wait. I don't think I have this set up for 100. What does it say right now? What is this? I haven't updated that since 100,000. I'm slacking over here. Okay, never mind. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Darth Plagueis. Yes, 170,000 is absolutely insane, but it's a credit to only you guys. Where is the Mando trailer? I don't know. I need it too. We are 11 months away. Less than a year. And still no teaser trailer. That's the cool thing, though, because we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu in just a second here, once we get through this Disney Plus stuff. But coolest part is we are 11 months away from the next Star Wars movie. Meaning, over the next couple months, we'll be getting a teaser trailer. We'll be getting hyped up and plot details and more casting and all this stuff. Maybe we'll find out that Bo-Katan's going to be in it after Katie Sackhoff lied this whole time. We'll figure it out. But that's going to be the hype of the next 11 months, is getting geared up for a Star Wars movie. We haven't done that in channel history yet, because I started the channel after the last movie came out. But also, we haven't done that as a Star Wars community 6.5 years. A long time since the last Star Wars movie. So it'll be fun for sure. And where is Sam? She's not here right now. Maybe she can get on his live stream soon, but yeah, she's not here right now. I'll tell her you say hi. Okay. Yeah. But you forgot the cost of making movies, marketing, making toys, and paying for shelf space and more. Yeah, it costs a lot of money to make those things, but it's not. On Disney Plus, you're not going to make a lot of money back. Probably mostly on toys like Grogu, because he's everywhere. Look down, he's on your shirt. But when you have a box office success, once you make back the marketing budget and the budget of the movie itself, the rest is just pure profit. If you make a $2 billion movie, that's well over $1 billion you just made off of that one movie. That's you're never gonna see that profit on Disney Plus. Ever. So they're moving back to the movies because that's just a way better chance to make more money. Way better. Yeah. Mike, can Sam do the streams and we get less streams? Quality over quantity? What? I'm not good enough anymore? What? You want less streams? Is that what you want? I can do less streams. Yeah, she hasn't been on in a while. We were just talking about that the other day. She's got to get on here. She's got to get on. Yeah. Okay. But yes, movies have the opportunity to make way more money than a live action show on Disney Plus. So when you're spending $500 million on a show like Andor, it's not going to see that kind of return. But when you spend maybe less than that on a movie, then you could see possibly, if it's a good movie and it's a success in the box office, well over $1 billion in returns, which is and that's just the box office. That's not even toys and all other things. Yeah. Indeed. $200,000 viewers, 200,000 subscribers equals 2 glasses of blue milk on your head? No, we're not doing that again. That's for damn sure. That was or even if we do that again, we're not putting it in the fridge because that was so cold. I will never forget that. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, for 100K, we dumped this gigantic cup of blue milk on my head, and it was the worst. The things I do for you guys is insane. But yeah. So we'll have to come up with something else for 200,000 because that's not happening again. No, it is not. No. It's not happening. Yeah. Cannibal Dragon says, name me a movie that's made $2 billion and subtract the cost of movie. No, I'm saying if it makes $2 billion in the box office, it's going to make well over $1 billion. Isn't that what I said? If I didn't, that's on me. But if it makes over $2 billion in the box office, then it's going to make well over $1 billion profit. Because, yes, it does cost anywhere from $300 to $500 million probably to make a Star Wars movie. Then you add on the marketing, or I guess probably $300 million to make the movie, at least $100 million to market the movie, create the toys and stuff. That's other things. But so you're looking at 500 to 700, anywhere in there to make the movie, market the movie, all in all, total. If it makes $2 billion, you're getting that back. You've already made this 500 to 700 back, and then the rest is profit. Yeah. If Kathleen Kennedy retires and Filoni takes over, George's apprentices could take over and now breathe new life into Star Wars. Yes, but that's probably good enough for some fans. But to the normie fan who only watches the live action shows or only watches the movies and only watches some live action shows and needs their friend who likes Star Wars to go, oh yeah, this is really good, you gotta check it out, blah, blah, blah. Like all that, those people who probably watched The Mandalorian but haven't watched anything else, they need something to draw them in. The conversation needs to be about Star Wars, and I think going back to the movie theaters will help that drastically. Yeah. Give us more of The Stranger and I'll be happy. I'd be quite happy with that too. And when you look at this chart, let's go back to it one more time. When you look at this chart and you look at the shows that got season 2s, obviously The Mandalorian got a season 2. Book of Boba Fett has not. Kenobi has not, which is crazy because it's the second. Actually, it's the highest first season. Kenobi is the highest first season of a Disney Plus show. Wow. That's crazy. It's higher than the Mando season 1. But Ahsoka gets a second season. Andor gets a second season. And that's all the way down here. I guess Acolyte is still lower than Andor technically, but Book of Boba Fett is way higher than Andor, and that didn't get a second season. And neither did Kenobi. But we shall see. If I'm looking at this chart as a producer who's trying to make money, I'm looking at Kenobi. And I'm going, how have we not made a Kenobi season 2 yet? And then when they go, okay, well, we don't have a plot for it, I'd go, okay, make Asherad Het the villain. Give us him training to become a Force ghost. Throw in Mace Windu in there. Just keep him alive forever. Yeah. And then while you're at it, Book of Boba Fett season 2 too. And throw Mace Windu in that as well. Because why not? Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Now, let's talk about this this Mando teaser trailer that should be coming soon, hopefully. Because they've been showing trailers left and right, just not publicly. By the way, has anybody found a description of this trailer yet online? Because I have not, but let's see what we got. So Disney lights up CineEurope? CineEurope? I guess it's got to be Cine, right? Like cinema? Whatever. With Lilo and Stitch success, teasing Toy Story 5, Tron Ares comes out this year. Does anybody know when that comes out? Because I have no idea. I was trying to think of it in my head, but I think it's November, but I could be wrong. Fantastic Four comes out next month, a couple weeks from now. Devil Wear Prada 2 and more during show capped by James Cameron tribute to John Landau. Landau? Sure. Okay, let's take a look. Well, let's just skip to the good stuff here. Lilo and Stitch, no. Pixar, no. Tron, no. 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 Okay, Star Wars. Here we go. Over in the Star Wars universe, a sizzle for The Mandalorian and Grogu, both characters appearing in their debut on the big screen in May next year, was introduced by director Jon Favreau, in a video. The film is in post-production. So yeah, nothing. Only shown to the people in attendance there at CineEurope. Yet another Mando trailer not released publicly. So let's talk about this. When do you think we are getting the first teaser trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? What do we think? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems late. Did we not get teaser trailers for the other Star Wars sequel trilogy movies long before this? Have we not been waiting long enough, chat? When do you think we will get the first, I should say, teaser trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu? Because the teaser that was leaked out from Star Wars Celebration was awesome. Even watching it on the grainy footage of a recording of a recording of a recording, even that was great. Why not just release that now as a teaser trailer? December 1st? You think they're going to wait till 6 months before the movie releases? That would be way too late. September? I could see September. We're talking teaser trailer now. Just a teaser. Not a full-on official trailer. Not the marketing cycle that happens months and months before the movie starts. I'm talking just a teaser. I'm talking Palpatine's laugh, Rise of Skywalker teaser trailer. How many months was that before the Rise of Skywalker released? A long time, no? I think they are releasing it with the Fantastic Four movie. Now that would be a great idea. To release the Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer, the first ever teaser trailer with the Fantastic Four. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. Yeah. Autumn/fall for the teaser, and then Christmas/January for the official trailer. I could see that too. Because around the Christmas time is where they like to do those big old releases. And I think because there's no Star Wars show coming out at that time, a big official trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie during Christmas time would be great. Yeah. I'm finishing up Acolyte right now. I need another show to watch. Well, you should just keep on going in the timeline. Just watch The Phantom Menace, and then Attack of the Clones, then the Clone Wars. Then just go through the whole timeline. I'd like to see it by August at least. I think it's got to be a lot sooner. Not sooner than August, but sooner than Christmas. That's for damn sure. I think at some point over this summer, at some point over the next 2 or 3 months, anywhere from end of June, July, August, maybe into September, we have to get this teaser trailer. We're 11 months away from this movie. It's the first Star Wars movie in 6.5 years. We need something to latch onto as Star Wars fans here. Something. Let me actually look this up. When did the first teaser trailer for Rise of Skywalker come out? April of 2019. And that came out in December of 2019. So that's what, 8 months before, I guess? 8 or 9 months? 8 months, right? So if we're going based off of that, we're 11 months out now, so that would be September, right? Yeah, 10, 9, 8. Okay, September. So if we're going based off of that, the teaser trailer should be out by September. But my thing about this is we haven't had a Star Wars movie in 6.5 years. With Rise of Skywalker, they were still promoting the Solo movie, which happened the year before. So, or not promoting it, but that was right on its tail. So this movie has to have this crazy buildup. They want The Mandalorian and Grogu to be this massive success, as it should be. We saw the numbers. The Mandalorian is clearly by far their best Star Wars Disney Plus show. Clearly. So that's why it's going to the big screen. So if they want it to be a huge success, people got to know that Din Djarin and Grogu are coming to the big screen. Yeah. So I think a teaser trailer will happen within the next 3 months. Whether it's attached to the Fantastic Four, which would be awesome, but that's next month, that would be great. Or if it comes out just on a random Tuesday or a random Thursday or a random day of the week, I'm fine with that too. I just need something to latch onto for this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Because right now, the taste that is left in fans' mouths for Din and Grogu is The Mandalorian Season 3. And as many of you will attest, that season is probably the worst of the 3 seasons. And a lot of people had issues with that 3rd season. Me, not so much. I really liked the end of the Mandalore stuff because that Mandalore arc has been going on since the Clone Wars. And it's been this build-up for over 7 seasons. No, 7 seasons of Clone Wars, 4 seasons of Rebels, 11 plus 3, math. 14 seasons of build-up for that grand finale in Mando Season 3. But it was not as good as Season 2. And that's the taste that's been left in fans' mouths. We haven't gotten Din and Grogu since, when did Season 3 come out? March 23. For the last 2 years, and by the time of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, it will be 3 years since we saw Din and Grogu. 3 years. They need to build this up quite a bit. And I think starting the marketing sooner rather than later will be great. Yeah. I want it on Friday, June 20th at 12 p.m., so tomorrow. so tomorrow, yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah. That'd be fantastic. I'd be down for that. But let's actually put a poll here. Let's end this poll and start a new one. Whoa. Chat just almost broke on me. Bring in Luke and Leia, and boom, the people will be pleased. Nostalgia never fails. Well, I don't think Luke and Leia will be anywhere close to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I just don't see them doing that. Maybe in Dave Filoni's movie, but not in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. No. By the way, 59% of you say no, you don't think that Star Wars live action content on Disney Plus is doomed. I agree with you. I think a lot is riding on the success of Ahsoka Season 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if come Star Wars Celebration 2027, or even before that, they announce the next live action show, whether it is a Season 2 to Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett or whatever, or if it's a new project that we don't even know about. I don't know. It's really tough because with The Mandalorian, that is a new project. That is a brand new idea. Yes, there's connections to legacy characters later on in Season 2, but it's a new idea from the jump, and it's a massive success. So they're trying to recapture that success with these other shows. Failed to do so with Andor, failed to do so with The Acolyte, failed to do so with Skeleton Crew, but they're still trying. Kenobi kind of did. Even the Book of Boba Fett was more successful than those other shows I just mentioned. Even Ahsoka is more successful than those other shows I just mentioned. So they're trying to capture that same success in a bottle here, and it's not that easy to do. It's really not. Now, you might be sitting there going, of course it's easy, Mike. You make a Vader show or a young Palpatine show, and I agree with you. That doesn't seem the route that they're going down. Yeah. Adventures of Chopper, a Star Wars story. Now, that would make $1 billion. Now, that would make $1 billion. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Nothing is being planned or filmed right now, so we don't get anything for live action on Disney Plus for the next couple years. Well, that we know of. Because right now, currently, Ahsoka Season 2 is filming. But we don't know of anything that is being produced or written or whatever in some sort of development phase right now. Dave Filoni played very, very coy with the idea of more live action shows at Star Wars Celebration. He was really not trying to give away too much, but also still trying to say, yes, there's going to be more. It didn't give us any information as to what that might be, whether it's Season 2 of multiple shows or new shows. But I don't think we are seeing the end of live action content on Disney Plus with Ahsoka Season 2. But if there is another handful of Skeleton Crew-like successes, we've gonna have to start having some more difficult conversations, especially about Disney Plus. So we'll see. A Darth Bane series would win. Well, that's the thing too, Peter. As much as a Darth Bane series would please us, as us hardcore fans know and love Darth Bane, it would be very difficult to get the casual fan to come figure that out, to come do that. Because Bane's not connected to any legacy characters from the movies. You're going to the Old Republic time period now. It'd be very hard to do. Yeah. Mike, do you have any theories on the Maul show? I mean, yeah, but there's a lot of them. I'll give you one. I'll give you one for now because we're not really talking Maul series today. But Darth Talon is being set up for so much more. And yes, I do think Darth Talon will also be in it. Yeah. Yeah. Darth Bane's series could be paying off for what James Mangold will be working on. Well, James Mangold's working on the Dawn of the Jedi, 25,000 years before anything else. Darth Bane is like 1,000 years before the Phantom Menace. Just about. That's when the rule of two gets put into place. That's when the Sith go away forever, seemingly. So that's still 24,000 years apart from James Mangold's movie. So the timeline is just so vast. John saying Han Solo is dead, spamming Han Solo is dead. I get it. You don't have to spam it. Yes, Han Solo is dead. Okay. I wonder if Han Solo died. Did anybody see that? Maybe. Okay. But we'll get to Han Solo coming back in a second, okay? Somehow Han Solo returned. Jeez. Can't please them all, I guess. Okay, but where was I? I don't even know where I was. Where was I, Chad? I was talking about something. Probably Star Wars related, I think. Maybe. Oh, we were talking Maul series. But no, that wasn't it. Star Wars shows and movies cost a lot. Andor Season 2 cost nearly $650 million to make. No. The 2 seasons of Andor. Oh, that's what you said. My fault. Two seasons cost $650 million to make. That's what I'm saying. And the profit there is slim to none. Yes, you make profit off of Disney Plus memberships, but it's not nearly as much as you would make from a movie that's a success. Now, you can lose money from a movie. Solo is the example of that. They lost money from Solo because it only made like $300 million in the box office, and that's not nearly enough. So it is a risk, but you got to take risks. The Mandalorian was a risk that paid off drastically. You got to start taking more risks. Sometimes it'll fail. Sometimes it'll blow up in your face, but other times it won't, and it will become this massive success that turns into 3 seasons and a movie for The Mandalorian. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to put up the other poll. Let me put up the other poll. When do you think we will get the Mando and Grogu teaser, not official trailer, teaser trailer? Let's go 1 to 2 months, 3 to 5 months. 3 to 5 months. Or 6+ months from now. Keep in mind, we are 11 months away. So when are we getting to the teaser trailer? Thanksgiving Day? That's so far from now. And it's only 7 months before the movie comes out. I'm somewhere between the 1 to 2 months or maybe 3 to 5. I'm hoping it's 1 to 2, but realistically, it's probably 3 to 5. Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone know if Han Solo died? I'm not too sure. Not too sure. Maybe we'll have to talk about that today. Do you like how Andor Season 2 did the year arcs? Or would you have preferred it like they did with Season 1? I liked how Season 2 did the arcs. It worked well. I was really concerned about the 3 episodes a week and how they weren't letting it ride for 12 weeks. That was a concern. It ended up working out very well because it wouldn't have made sense if you got like episode 1 and then had to wait a week for episode 2. The arcs worked perfectly. Do I ever see them doing that again? No. Every other show that other than Andor has worked perfectly with the week-to-week release dates. Only Andor Season 2, because it was specifically made to do so, worked because of that. It was supposed to be 5 seasons, dwindled down to 2 seasons, and they had to somehow give us those time jumps in between while it's still making sense. And it worked perfectly. Yeah. Holly, what's up? How we doing? December is too late / too close. Yeah, it is too close for a teaser trailer for a movie that comes out in May. We just talked about how the Rise of Skywalker teaser trailer came out 8 months before the movie. And that's when Star Wars movies were coming out every single year. Now we haven't had a Star Wars movie in over half a decade. So hopefully they start the marketing process a little sooner. And let's not forget, it's not like they don't have a trailer ready. There was a trailer released to the people at Star Wars Celebration. There's a trailer shown to the people last night in Europe. So the trailers are ready to go. It's just the motion of pressing the button that says, let Mike see that trailer. so that he can become sane again. That's all it takes. So whoever has to give that order, Lucasfilm, if you're watching, press the button. Please. Press the button. But I will say,
I got a bad feeling about this.
I think it's going to be a while. I don't think we're getting this Mando trailer officially until, I don't know. Who knows? Hopefully within the next couple months, but we shall see. Yeah. Mike, what's one tip that you have for Star Wars short content? Oh, like making Star Wars shorts? What's one tip I have? Make them good. You know? If you sit there and you go, I wouldn't watch this, then it probably sucks. Because usually when I make a short, it's like an interview or a really cool, like, did you know, or a fun fact or a deleted scene. And when I find it, I go, holy crap, that's awesome. I want to show everybody else. So if it's not like, holy crap, this is awesome, then you probably shouldn't post it. You know? Hope that helped. Okay. Where were we? Short content tip, find an editor. No, I like doing my own stuff. I've had some people come to me and be like, I could edit your videos. And I'm like, yeah. Can you though? You know? Okay. Where were we? Let's please the fans with the Han Solo stuff, shall we? Let's talk Han freaking Solo. Okay. So, Han Solo does return, even though he's dead, in the Star Wars world, galaxy far, far away. And honestly, this might be the start of finally what we've been begging for years. And that is some content with the original trio, or at least the main characters of the Star Wars universe: Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, C-3PO, R2-D2, Lando. I guess that's it. Those characters from the original trilogy getting their time to shine. Because we got the beginning of their story, we got the end of their story, but we need that middle. There's been pieces of it. We see Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. We see C-3PO and R2-D2 in The Mandalorian. But we don't have Han. We don't have Leia. We don't have Lando. We don't have Chewie. We don't have those characters. And even with that, they'll be deep-faked and their time will be limited. So getting more storytelling with these characters is most likely going to be in 3 places: novels, comics, and animation. Hopefully we get a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple animated show after the Maul series, and it's great, and it tells the whole downfall of Luke Skywalker and his Jedi Order, and tells Palpatine's rise to power and the First Order's rise to power and all that great stuff. A man can dream. But for now, we got some crazy news about this great new Han Solo story. So let's take a look. Star Wars Han Solo Hunt for the Falcon miniseries announced for September release. After being teased during Star Wars Celebration publishing panel, we finally have information about a brand new comic titled Star Wars Han Solo Hunt for the Falcon. And here's a little bit of older Han Solo, a little bit older Lando, Chewie, and this guy. You know, good old horny face. Oh, nope. Hang on.
Incorrect.
Horns on his face. That still sounds horrible.
I got a bad feeling about
No! He has horns on his face. That's what I meant. Okay. Games Radar reports that Hunt for the Falcon is a 5-issue miniseries penned by Rodney Barnes. Sure. And art by Raymond Rassus. Yeah. The Marvel comic promises to show Han going into retirement, a time period where we've never seen Han Solo before, in this time period between the original trilogy and the sequels. Then enlists Chewbacca to find and return their longtime home, the Millennium Falcon, which is where which we only see succeed. Easy for me to say. In The Force Awakens. Take a look at the covers of these stories. Here we go. So it looks like it's leading right into, or at least a couple years before the sequel trilogy, because Han looks older here, a lot older. But here are our covers, or at least 4 of them. You got Han. Is that C-3PO? Maybe. Running from some assassin droid looking things. You got Han driving in a speeder. You got Han with the Millennium Falcon behind him. Lando, Chewie, and Horny Face. And then you got Chewie getting attacked by some spider over here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And clearly Han won't be alone in his search. Chewie, Lando, and Leia will make appearances as Han search for Duquesne? Sure. The Nikto thief who stole the Millennium Falcon, as seen in Star Wars Adventures Flight of the Falcon series published in 2019. So here's the description. In the time before The Force Awakens, or right before The Force Awakens, where is the Millennium Falcon? Well, we know it's on Jakku, but less than satisfied with a settled life, Han Solo lands on the idea of reclaiming the Falcon and returns to the life of adventure. So this might actually tell us the story of how him and Leia fall apart. This might be the story that some fans have been looking for, the answer to the question, what happened to Han and Leia? He might just be bored. That might just be. Somehow Horny Head returned. Oh my God. Okay. But the problem is he can't find it. The Falcon is gone. After enlisting a less than enthusiastic Chewbacca, the duo embarks upon a quest to reclaim the greatest ship in the galaxy. Is it? Is the Millennium Falcon the greatest ship in the galaxy? So he chooses the Falcon over Leia? It seems that way. That seems like the story we're about to be told here. That Han is so bored with his wife and kid and friends and retirement that he throws his marriage away. His kid becomes an evil, dark side wielding badass just so he can get his ship back. Pretty wild. And then Leia goes to become the leader of the resistance. Pretty crazy stuff. But is there a ship in Star Wars that's better than the Millennium Falcon? You tell me. Okay. Standing in their way are a laundry list of rogues who have stake to claim the Millennium Falcon as well, like the villainous scoundrel who stole the Falcon, Duquesne. Duquesne? Sure. Duquesne. There you go. Is Duquesne like a character I should be knowing here, chat? What's the deal with this guy? Let's look it up. Duquesne, Star Wars. Oh, it's Horny Face. That's Duquesne? Let's see. It's Horny Face. Wow. Okay. His name is Gainus.
I got a bad feeling about this.
We're going to stick with Horny Face for now. Who stole the Millennium Falcon from Han Solo, only to have it stolen from him later by the Irving boys. All right, now I got to know who the Irving boys are. We're in an endless loop here, chat. The Irving boys, 2 male individuals who, guess what, probably stole the Millennium Falcon. Oh, yeah, stole the Millennium Falcon. No images of these guys? Okay. All right. So not much to do here. And then Unkar Plunt stole it from him. Okay, so the line goes, Han Solo gets his stolen from Horny Face, and then Horny Face gets the Millennium Falcon stolen from the Irving boys, and the Irving boys get it stolen from Unkar Plunt. And Unkar Plunt gets it stolen by Rey. Are you with me so far? That's the line of the Millennium Falcon up until the sequel trilogy. And now this story is going to tell us that. So we go from Horny face to the Irving boys, to Unkar Plunt, to Rey, back to Han, and then back to Rey again. Okay. So now that we got that cleared up, this is exactly what we want. These stories, pre-sequels, that explain what's going on in the sequel trilogy. Because there is so much that still needs to be explained. Not just Han and Leia splitting up and that stuff. Why the Millennium Falcon's on not Octu. Why it's on Jakku. Why Kylo falls to the dark side. Why Luke Skywalker becomes an old hermit. How the First Order rises to power. All that stuff needs to be explained. And this is just the start of that. This is fan-freaking-tastic that we are getting more story with Han, Leia, Lando, Chewie, and others in this time period between the sequels and the original trilogy. Yes, it's just a comic, and not everybody reads the comics, but it's a start. Because at some point, it's going to become more of getting to see Han, Leia, Luke, Lando, all them in live action, or even in animation, where we're getting a story told from all that stuff. Because there's already some books, there's already some comics that are exploring this a little bit, but we need more. There's a 25-year gap right now in the Star Wars timeline. Probably the most important gap, because if it gets filled in correctly, not only will so many more Star Wars fans like the sequel trilogy, but the sequel trilogy itself could become so much better. And if you don't believe me, well, we just got done talking about how much the Andor Season 2, one single season of a television show, makes Rogue One and the original trilogy so much better. Not that those projects needed it, because they're already great, but it still does. So if Andor Season 2, one singular 12-episode show, can make those movies better, what could a 7-season animated show about Luke, Leia, and Han do for the sequel trilogy? Telling the actual story, what went down, how this happened, how Palpatine actually returned. Because Palpatine's a freaking genius, okay? He's the guy who has pulling the strings of both sides of a whole galaxy-wide war. He's a genius. So getting to see that genius bring himself back from the dead, seemingly. Yes, somehow Palpatine returns. But the Palpatine, that's not just somehow. It's a lot of hard work, okay? And I want to see that. I want to see it, okay? So yes, we got a lot of stuff to get into before the sequel trilogy becomes acceptable to many people. So many people have very strong opinions about the sequel. I really like The Force Awakens. I thought after that, a lot of the mystery of the setups for those characters got all over the place, jumbled and jambled and jumbled. But there's aspects to the story that not only can be fixed or made better, but it could also give us great content in between. Because Andor's objective is not to make Rogue One better. It's not to make the original trilogy better. It's to make a great story. It does that, but in doing so, makes those other projects better. So we could get an incredible show or movie or show and movie of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, or just this time period between Han and Leia, or Kylo Ren's fall to the dark side. All that stuff could be explored so much more. We were talking about this actually on Jedi Chat podcast last week. Talking about the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren are such a cool idea, but we barely get any of them in the sequel trilogy. So getting more of the Knights of Ren in this pre-sequels time period would make them even cooler in the original trilogy. Same can be said about Snoke. Same can be said about so many characters in the sequel trilogy that don't really appear much in the movies, or at least don't get their shine. Captain Phasma comes to mind as well. So this Han Solo stuff, even though it's just a mini series of comics, is the start to something greater, is the start to getting more content with these characters. Yeah, exactly. The sequel trilogy, you just don't really have a connection to those characters. And although you can get some from the first couple movies, by the time it pays off, it's already over. And now you've been like, okay, is Rey a nobody? Is she a Palpatine? Is she a nobody? Is she Palpatine? And you spend so much time thinking about that you don't even know who's going where and what's doing who and why's doing what. Exactly. Sorry, not a comic I'll be investing in. I wish them well, though. I'm probably not even going to get it either. It's more just the concept of bringing Han, Leia, Lando back to the story. It could allow us to do many other things moving forward. Because yes, the comics don't usually perform too well. Like they're not the biggest selling thing for Lucasfilm in terms of Star Wars content. That's for damn sure. But what happens in the comics tends to lead to something else. We got years of Vader comics. I wouldn't say the Vader comics lead into Kenobi because they don't, but you still get Kenobi and Vader after years of people loving the Vader comics. Now we're actually getting, and this is on the topic of comics here, this is the Legacy of Vader run that's going on right now. This is the cover, or I guess number 8 variant, sure, of the Legacy of Vader comic. Just another reason that like the Knights of Ren need to be explored way more because they're so badass looking. And the fact that they're just barely in the sequel trilogy at all is just devastating. We need more of them. We need more. So whether it's animation, whether it's comics, whether it's novels, whether it's all the above, or even live action, why not? We need stories that are before the sequel trilogy that tell the question marks, because there are so many question marks in that sequel trilogy. Can I get some good cuss follow orders in the chat, please? That is empty. Bumpa! I am just now realizing, I was like, why does my stomach hurt? I'm so hungry. God, okay, sorry. I got distracted by my hunger. All right, so yes, post-sequel stuff, gonna be great. Or, I mean, pre-sequel stuff, gonna be great. Mandalorian and Grogu movie we talked about. The numbers we talked about. Okay, yes, this. Well, we're on the topic of comics. A Book of Boba Fett comic, or not Book of Boba Fett, Boba Fett specifically comic we talked about yesterday, or Tuesday? Tuesday. We talked about the Boba Fett Black, White, Red comics that are coming out. So those will come out in September. And yeah, take a look at this. Why this new Star Wars comic is perfect for Boba Fett fans. For fans who haven't been ravenous, sure, for seeing Boba Fett at his, or have been ravenous, sorry, that's why I was confused, at his peak of his power, getting into all sorts of bloody, badass fun across the cosmos, this will finally be the perfect time to satiate that hunger, especially for people looking for the increasingly likely Book of Boba Fett season 2. We'll never wait, what? Never see the light of day? Oh, this is from last year. Never mind. Book of Boba Fett does seem like it will get the light of day. It seems now more than ever with Tamara Morrison's comments and Ming-Na Wen's comments from just a couple weeks ago, which we were talking about. Well, relatively niche Marvel Star Wars Black, White, Red line has given readers darker takes on the Star Wars universe, most prominently represented in the line's signature black and white art. So the Vader comics and the Maul comics are what we talked about before. But since Boba Fett's debut in the original trilogy, lovers of the mysterious Mandalorian have been clamoring to see the character be the focus of a kick-ass Star Wars story. This is what Mando Season 2 gave us. It gave us badass Boba. And when we got the Book of Boba Fett, we were hoping an extension of that, and it really wasn't. Now, granted, it was explained as to why it wasn't, but we want badass Boba. And this is the time period where we can get badass Boba. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about this, the whole Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show thing, you can get the underworld of Star Wars. Think about it like the Clone Wars, because we're watching the Clone Wars right now. We are on season 4 finally. Think about it, the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars gives you the underworld of Star Wars, gives you bounty hunters, gives you, obviously, the Clone Wars itself, Jedi versus Separatists, Jedi versus droids, clones, all these characters that you would never even know about in the movies. You never even heard of. Captain Rex, Ahsoka, Barriss Offee, all these characters that you have a connection to now. Even Clone 99, Fives, all those characters. Cad Bane, these characters that you would never see in the movies. You have the time to spend world building around the underworld and the Jedi Order itself, the Separatists, Asajj Ventress, Night Sisters, like all these crazy new ideas in Star Wars. If you could do that in a post-original trilogy time period with Luke Skywalker, you can do the underworld with Boba Fett, with bounty hunters, maybe even bring back Cad Bane. But give us the underworld with the Hutts, the Fetts, the Pikes, all that stuff. Maybe even the Crimson Dawn with Kira, while also doing Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, while also doing the First Order's rise to power. You can do exactly what the Clone Wars perfected with a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show. But that's just what I get from. If you want more badass Boba, a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show could give you even more of that. But this is where you could get it too, in the comics, during the time where he was badass. Well, the Book of Boba Fett almost surely did not provide that for the larger swaths of the Star Wars fan base. I like that word. Sitting at a dismal 66. Oh, I didn't know Book of Boba Fett was executing Order 66. Can we fact check this, chat? Does the Book of Boba Fett actually have a 66 on Rotten Tomatoes? What's the audience score? Does anybody know? This could provide a legitimate option for those Boba Fett diehards. It is funny when you say like Boba Fett diehards. Like Boba Fett had what, 4? What do we say? 4? Was it 8? Something like 4 or 8 lines in the original trilogy. The part that people like about the character is because he's so mysterious. When you do an entire series on the guy, you're going to get to know him a little bit more, and you're not going to like it. Yeah. Sadly, these comic stories will be a series of anthology series scattered across the iconic bounty hunter's life. Why is that sadly? This will allow us to actually see the badass stuff all over his life. If this comic sells well enough, maybe the character could get the TV series or even movie that he deserves, finally giving fans what they wanted since 1978. 78? Oh, the holiday special where he makes his debut, of course. There was, at one point, a rated R Boba Fett movie in the works at Lucasfilm. Yeah, we talked about this when the rumors came out months and months and months ago. But that Book of Boba Fett rated R project, it was one of those Solo movies, Rogue One movies, the Kenobi movie that they were going to make. At the time, when they thought the movies were the way, this is the way, they thought that they were going to make movies, spin-off shows, sequels, spin-off movie, spin-off movie, sequel, spin-off movie. When Solo bombed and the sequel trilogy movies started to fall off, they went away from that. But at one point, the Book of Boba Fett was supposed to get a rated R movie. It was in the works. And Kenobi was supposed to as well. So Book of Boba Fett has a 66 on the critics' review and 48 on audience score. Wow. 48 is crazy. That's wild. Okay. Where was I? So who's to say the Starfaring studio will not be interested in going down that road again by making a rated R Book of Boba Fett movie, or Boba Fett movie in general? With Lucasfilm in the midst of a creative I'm not even gonna. Nope. That.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It feels like anything is on the table. Because of this, a more adult-oriented Boba Fett project could be in the cards if Lucasfilm wanted to go down that direction again. The rated R stuff with Star Wars, tell me in the chat. Not a fan. I don't want it. I don't think rated R needs to be involved with Star Wars at all. You can have very serious tones. You can have very serious things. You can have brutal battles in Star Wars and it not be rated R. You don't need that. Don't need to be over the top for no reason. Andor is a massive success. It's more adult, as people call it. It's more seriously toned. But so is Revenge of the Sith. So is The Empire Strikes Back. So are certain arcs in the Clone Wars or in Rebels where people are dying or getting their heads chopped off, or The Acolyte where Chimera is chopping people's heads off and snapping people's necks and going ksh, 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 to Jackie. Like, there's very serious things in Star Wars that maybe are TVMA, is it called? That's the more worse one. Or PG-13. Like, those still exist in Star Wars. I don't think we have to take the next step for no reason just to go to rated R. We don't need no F-bombs in Star Wars. We don't need to see some gruesome, bloody, gory whatever in Star. We don't need it. We just don't need it. So even if we do get a Book of Boba Fett movie or a Book of Boba Fett season 2, it can be badass. It can be more seriously toned. It can have a lot of killing and death, but it doesn't have to be rated R. Killing and death and serious tone doesn't equal rated R. It just doesn't. So that's my take on it. But tell me in the chat, do you want a rated R project? Tell me in the chat. Actually, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Why not? Might as well, right? What was our last poll anyway? Oh, the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. Yeah, this is where I thought it was going to go. 44% of you think that the Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer will happen within the next 3 to 5 months. 36% say 1 to 2 months. And 19% say 6 plus months. 6 plus months from now? So less than 6 months from the movie's release. That would be crazy. What irritates me is that you need to watch the Book of Boba Fett, last 3 episodes at least, to understand Mando Season 3. Well, that doesn't frustrate me because that's how the story is supposed to go. Like, you should, with the Mandoverse at least, you should have to watch the project that came before for the next one to make sense. Now, that's not always the case, but you should. Like, it should go chapter by chapter. You have to watch it in order, which is Mando Season 1, Mando Season 2, Book of Boba Fett, Mando Season 3, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka Season 2. Right? Did I miss something? No. It should be that you have to watch it in that order. I get that the whole Mando Season 2 emotional end of Grogu and Din Djarin seems a little bit taken away because it happens in the Book of Boba Fett, and not the Mandalorian. But it's still the same timeline. It's still the same story. That's why it's called the Book of Boba Fett, because it's a chapter or a book in this series of the Mandoverse. That's why the episodes of The Mandalorian are called chapters. But I will say, there are episodes in the Book of Boba Fett that don't even have Boba in them. And coincidentally, they're like the best ones. But it is sort of like it was just thrown together because of Cara Dune going away, because of Pedro Pascal being busy doing other things, because the Mandalorian Season 3 was not ready to go, because they needed that to fill the time slot, pretty much. And they wanted to tell a story with Boba, but still. Yeah. Yeah. A Boba Fett as a John Wick rated R flick? Yes, please. Again, I still don't think it needs to be rated R. You can have Boba Fett be badass and it not be rated R. But let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Do you want a rated R Star Wars movie? That's not how you spell movie. Movie. Yes or no? Doesn't have to be Boba Fett. It could be anything. Do you want a rated R Star Wars movie? Yes or no? The Dave that loves Star Wars. What's up, Dave? How we doing? Says, a rated R Star Wars film is completely unnecessary. Agree. The use of shit is not needed in and or either. Oh, yeah. I forgot our boy Linus screaming shit in the first season. Actually, doesn't somebody say it in the second season too? They could have come up with something more original. Our swear words wouldn't exist in Star Wars Galaxy. True. True. Doesn't Han Solo say something about hell in the original trilogy? Like what the hell or something? I feel like there's been swear words from the real world in Star Wars before, like the original trilogy time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, well, you do have Dang Ferrick. You do have Star Wars swear words. That's for sure. I'll see you in hell. Oh, yeah, he says that in season 2. You're right. Or no, he doesn't say that. Bail Organa says hell. He says, give them hell. That's what he says. Give them hell. Bantha Poodoo, of course. I'd like the rated R horror / gore Star Wars film about Darkseid / Sith. Again, you can pull off Darkseid, you can pull off Sith, you can pull off killing people all the time without it being rated R. And The Acolyte's a perfect example of that. Episode 5 of The Acolyte, I think it's something like 8. I forget the exact number. 8. Let's just say it's 8. 8. Let's say 8 and sound so confident about it. 8 Jedi die in the forest. 8 of them. To Chimera, all in crazy ways. Chopping their heads off, snapping their necks, stabbing them through the chest, all in wild ways. That's not rated R, and it doesn't have to be. Yes, you could have snapped his neck, and then like blood could have gone, or snapped his head, or chopped his head off, and blood could. You don't need that. It's over the top and unnecessary. So you can do a Sith-centered story. You can do the torture, I guess the Palpatine, for example, young Palpatine killing his own family. Like, you can do that and it still not be rated R. It'll be serious. It'll be don't show your kids, but it doesn't have to be rated R. Yeah. Only 8 should have been more. Well, if it was more, then, I mean, we're talking Chimera is one of the most powerful characters in Star Wars, if that's the case. You don't need an F-bomb or blood and gore at all. We have other movies that show that. Yeah, and Star Wars has gotten away with it for long enough. Luke Skywalker's hand gets chopped off. There's no blood going ksh, ksh, ksh. It's I guess the explanation is that the lightsaber cauterizes the wound as soon as it slices his hand off. It's just not necessary. You know? Yeah. We don't need it, but I want it. Okay, well that's I guess more so the reason for the poll. It's more of a personalized thing. It's more of an objective opinion, I guess. Or subjective, I should say. Not objective. It's what you want. And if you are a fan of the blood and horror and gore of horror films, I guess, and rated R films in general, then yeah, you're going to want that in Star Wars. I guess I'm just not. Like, I like some rated R films, but it's just not necessary, you know? PG-13, you can get away with quite a bit. Quite a bit. Yeah. And you can still do horror in Star Wars without it even being rated R. You can. Yeah. Like, you and Sam should watch Star Wars fan films and, like, react to them. I'd do that. I definitely do that. There's so many Star Wars fan films that I haven't watched. If Andor went into a brothel, rated R, well, okay. Well, first of all, isn't the opening scene Andor walking into, not like an actual, it's the Star Wars equivalent. Doesn't he walk right in the opening scene of Andor? Like, you going to watch Spaceballs 2? Of course. But it's not until 2027. It's going to be a while. Yeah. Private Ryan was PG-13 and the opening scene was carnage. Well, I will say, I don't think rated R, when was rated R a thing? Like, became a thing? When did rated R become a thing at first? Does anybody know the year? I know PG-13 wasn't around. We found this out until like 1980 or something. So rated R might be a somewhat new thing. Yeah. So Leia in a skimpy slave outfit should have been rated R? No. Well, what's crazy is that was PG. What's crazy is that the whole thing was PG. The Star Wars movies now are PG-13. The sequel trilogy, all of them are PG-13. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you have some horrible stuff happening in Star Wars. Maul gets chopped in half. Dooku gets his head chopped off. Anakin burns alive on screen. So there's already some pretty dark stuff. Yeah. PG-13 became a thing. R always existed. Oh, okay. So R came first, and PG-13 was in the 80s. I get you. I get you. That makes sense, actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, let me end this poll. Let's see where you guys are at with the rated R Star Wars. Do you want a rated R Star Wars movie? 57% of you say no, 42% say yes. Well, there you have it. There you have it. The people have spoken. But again, we're very divided on that topic. Very. Oh, and this is the last thing I want to sort of talk about here before we get on out of here. These are leaks of the 2026, next year's upcoming Lego Star Wars sets. Kind of gives a tease towards the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Got a Siege of Mandalore battle pack, including 2 Super Commandos and 2 of the 332nd clones, which is pretty cool. You're getting some Siege of Mandalore stuff. Play scale AT-AT Walker from the Mandoverse movie is what it says, but the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. That's pretty cool. A play scale Razor Crest. I don't know why it's on here twice, but play scale Razor Crest. Is that the Razor Crest from the Mandalorian season 1 and 2, or is it the Razor Crest that he might be getting back in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Because we see Zeb has a Razor Crest in the trailer. But Cobb Vanth versus Cad Bane duel set. This is an underrated duel. I can't highlight it, but this is an underrated duel. Cobb Vanth versus Cad Bane. It's not only Cad Bane's first introduction to live action, but it's just a badass scene. Darth Vader bust.
I got a bad feeling.
In a MIDI scale Venator. So I'm guessing that's just a smaller version of the big old Venator, because they do the small versions of the Millennium Falcon. So I'm just guessing, yeah, probably something like that. But this does give us a first look at, well, we knew an AT-AT Walker was going to be in the Mandalorian, but now we're actually getting a Lego set for it, so it could be even more important there. But there you have it. Those are the leaks, and those could be, I mean, some of them might not actually exist. Some of them might be real. They're just leaks for now, so they could change. But Razor Crest and an AT-AT for Mando stuff. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You have the Boba Fett bust? I have the Boba Fett and the Vader one. Whoa. This is dangerous. Holding a Lego like that is not very, look at the Vader one there. Whoa. And the Boba Fett one. I think this comes down, doesn't it? Ooh, fancy. Oh, now I gotta put them back without breaking them. Whoa. Got it. Okay. Whew. That was tough. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, I have so much Star Wars stuff that I can't fit nearly all of it on this screen that you're watching right now. So literally right off screen is those Legos. I got more Legos over there on the right. I got some poster, a Darth Maul poster there, a Star Wars poster there, Mandalorian poster over there. I got Han and Carbonite over there. I got some pretty crazy stuff around here. Of course, me as Darth Vader as a bobblehead. You know, the usual. Sith holocron just hanging out here, like, because we're all Sith Lords. Got a lot of stuff. Okay. But with that being said, I do have to get on out of here. The collection just keeps on growing to a daily basis. But maybe someday you'll get the tour of the whole place. But we'll see. We shall see. But yes, Mandalorian and Grogu trailer hopefully coming very soon. As yesterday, more people got to see more footage of the movie, and we haven't gotten to see any of it, at least legally. And Han Solo's back, and hopefully getting some more story with those characters in the near future. And this Disney Plus numbers are concerning, to say the least. One last look. Disney Plus numbers, Mandalorian and Grogu, or Mandalorian, I guess, skyrocketing, and then a steady decline since then. Since Mando Season 3, for sure. Decline. But Ahsoka Season 2 seems to be our only hope. At least the only hope that we know of for live-action Star Wars content. And we'll just keep getting more information as we go, I guess. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. How many likes do we have, chat? 69. Nice. Uh, if you have not already, hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up with a recommended feed of yours. Huge shout out to Doc Plagueis Lives for the very generous super chat. I appreciate it. Super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here. And we are getting pretty close to the end of the month again, and we do have giveaways at the end of every month. So, yeah. Until next time, watch it for a short tonight. And, yeah. I guess that's all. May the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. This was quite the stream, if I do say so myself. I mean, hitting 170,000 subscribers today is absolutely insane, so I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. I say that every live stream, but you guys got to really understand. I appreciate you guys so much. Just because you hit that subscribe button, it means so much to me, and I just cannot thank you enough. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much. Have I said that already? I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. If you are not yet in that Discord, go join that Discord immediately. And good night, everybody.